I'm a huge fan of Fortnite to like an insane degree, and I've made a huge venture for the past year of my career to get all of the Batman suits to make up for missing the Spidey skins. It's such a problem too that close friends of mine always give me shit for copying some of the greatest skins ever cooked up. I mean, you got TMNT that just came out, Invincible, Omni-Man, Ghost Rider, Green Goblin. I mean, I need it like SpongeBob needs water.
I need it!
The only thing, however, that I'll always regret is just never making it in time for the Spider-Man skins. And now I'm just stuck with 2099's Gyat in my face. I long for you every night, and I dream of your warmth until the sun hits my face and reminds me painfully that no such day shall ever arise again. Now, I love most of the Batman skins, except for the OG one and this ugly armored one. It just kind of looks a bit off, and I don't like the way that he smiles at me. Gives me the heebie-jeebies. But the one cool thing about Batman being in Fortnite is that I get to talk about
Batman Fortnite.
This was a story I glanced over for such a long time because I just thought it was a kind of crossover that was cheaply made to sponsor the skins being in Fortnite to ultimately be just a cheap cash grab. And probably didn't have much of an interesting story going for it, just that a few DC characters alongside Batman interact with Renegade Wada. But man, it actually turned out that I was dead wrong. I found the actual book at a local Barnes & Noble for a whopping $12, and with it also came a motherfucking Fortnite code that gave me exclusive items to redeem in the shop, like the Harley Quinn skin, the Batman and Armored Suit skin, and a bunch of different back blings and etc. And I had no shame bringing this book to the register to pay for it as a grown-ass 23-year-old man. And I'm not gonna lie, I played with the new skins way before reading, and put off reading the book for a good couple days, because I've been working tirelessly on that Red Hood video, or occasionally modding skins in Arkham Knight, or playing Fortnite. But when I began to read the tale of Batman Fortnite, I was in for a treat like no other, and found that it was ironically one of the better Batman stories I've read in a long time. So I thought it'd make a pretty darn good video. So without further ado, let's get into the Bat buffoonery. Fortnite Bat Pass, that's just shit out my ass. Getting into Batman Fortnite, which takes place in the main DC Comics continuity, a huge crack appears in the sky, and Batman, because he's Batman, tells Gordon to evacuate the city because he's getting weird readings from the tear. With Gordon adding before leaving that people have been running away from the tear, but some are running toward it. Batman grapples through the city to find out more about the tear and ends up bumping into Harley Quinn, remarking that she stops to clean hyena poop in her apartment for 2 whole minutes and a tear in the fabric of reality comes out of nowhere. Batman attempts to glide kick Harley, thinking that she's involved with the tear in Gotham somehow, until she gets sucked in the tear herself. After which Batman begins running more sciencey scans on the tear till a shadowy figure looming in the background kicks Batman into the tear. The further Batman gets sucked, the more his gadgets go haywire, and the added pressure makes Batman black out. When Batman next comes to, he finds himself in uncharted territory with a huge purple storm moving in on his location. Once at a better area to survey the land, Batman looks back at the storm and takes notice that it's completely stopped moving, sitting at one location, giving Batman reason to believe that it's being controlled. Walking around the map, he's then ambushed by this guy from Fortnite whose name is a mystery to me. But he reminds me of Krieg from Borderlands, so that's his name until someone inevitably calls me a dumbass and corrects me.
Angry! I'm angry!
Krieg lunges at Batman, but Batman uses his momentum to send Krieg crashing to the floor, where he'd then usually say the famous line,
Talk! Or I'll crush every bone in your body.
But when he speaks, nothing comes out. So Batman tries to communicate to Krieg through grittying and sign language that he's friendly, which leads to 3 very funny panels. I don't know who I am. The two engage in hand-to-hand combat, and while fighting, Batman tries his best to recall who he is. Batman figures that this isn't where he's from and he should be able to talk. He knows how to fight from muscle memory, and he knows how to use weapons, but anything else is washed away, just like the pleb Krieg who thought he could crank 90s on Batman. On his travels, Batman tries to get a better lay of the land of Fortnite, till he almost gets a low taper fade, sending Batman tumbling down a mountain square in the middle of a huge gunfight, and at the sight of all these skins, Batman thinks he's finally gone mad and this is an asylum. Fighting to stay alive, he struggles to understand why everyone is just fighting with no rhyme or reason. But through the fighting, he sees Catwoman in the fray. While fighting absolute bots, Batman keeps looking at Catwoman like he knows who she is but just can't place it. And as they fight alongside each other, they realize they fought together before and their coordination is completely flawless. As they fight, Batman wonders if she's a colleague, a friend, or maybe a lover. But before he can get any answers, the storm begins to close in fast with no other place to go. The duo take down the remaining players and desperately try to figure out a way to escape their impending doom, until they both finally accept that there's nothing they can do, choosing to embrace each other till the storm inevitably takes the two of them, ending the story. I don't know where I am, but apparently I've planned for that. Messages. Judging from the angles, written to myself. Lots of them. How long have I been here? This is where I immediately thought that this was a pretty peak Batman story. Because I'm a sucker for Groundhog Day / Memento / Live Die Repeat stories. And who better to put in the center of a story like that than the frickin' Batman? The guy who plans and plans contingencies after contingencies for virtually anything ever. And to add for a quick sec, this suit is just unequivocally bussing. Carry on, carry on. Now, we are never given the information of how long Batman has been in this Fortnite loop, because every time Batman dies, he loses all memory of the past game. But because he's Batman, he's figured out a way to counteract the memory loss by writing key notes on batarangs, gear, and even his suit. So that way, with each loop, he'll eventually get closer and closer to his escape. So you can kind of see now the loose inspiration from movies like Live Die Repeat or Memento for this story. So retracing his steps, he defeats Krieg lickety-split, and follows a pair of coordinates on his gear till he finds Catwoman fighting, gosh, I gotta look up their names. Alright, Meowskulls, Fishstick, Rainbow Riot, William Afton, and the Yellow Shiesty Sorcerer. Batman helps Catwoman take down the pair of plebs, but Catwoman thinks Batman's another threat, so the two go at it. Until Batman etches into a batarang that he's actually a friend before they get taken away by the storm once again. And again, the loop starts over. Batman looks over his notes, retraces his steps, until Catwoman shows up at his headquarters before going off to find her once again. Reunited, they scour the island for a way out, but everywhere they go, it turns up a dead end on each loop, and they always get swept away by the storm. Or other times, either one of them end up dying trying to find a way out, and go through the cycle all over again. Live, die, repeat, live, die, repeat. Among one of their games, they end up running into Harley Quinn, who is seen to be absolutely fucking on everyone in her path, even hitting the floss after killing everyone.
I'm not seeing enough movement.
I'm not funny. Upon seeing this, Batman and Catwoman think that she'd make a great ally, so they try to attempt to recruit her, but Harley likes being trapped in Fortnite, choosing instead to try and kill the duo, and kinda sorta succeeds. Eventually, the Bat and the Cat go over all their notes they've collected about the island, and deduce that one of them will have to die so the other can escape the loop. So Batman tries to sit in the storm so that Catwoman can go on and escape the loop. Yet they both spawn back inside the loop once again. Through this, Batman studies the behavior of other players and the way the storm operates, and thinks that in order to escape the loop, you have to kill the last player. Not let yourself die in the storm for the other. So the Bat and the Cat defeat everyone on the island till it comes down to the two of them. And Batman proves to Otacon that love truly can bloom on the battlefield before making Catwoman stab and kill him so that she can escape the loop. Once again, Batman respawns, reads the notes on his gear, and retraces his steps, still trapped inside the loop, no longer aided by Catwoman. In the next chapter, Batman has succeeded in defeating everyone on the island till becoming the only one left 3 times, but the people running the loop refuse to let Batman escape. However, with each loop, Batman continues to improve and improve, making the people running the loop very worried. So they send in an asset that will hopefully slow down Batman permanently. An asset that is equal to Batman in virtually every way. And that asset is Snake Eyes.
That's what I'm talking about. This shit means something to me, man.
This is peak right here, if you ask me. Because this whole time I thought it was going to be Deathstroke or something else, but they pulled the old rug right out from under me and gave us this raw-ass rivalry. Through the eyes of the people running the loop, they're in awe at the way they both fight, with counters on top of counters and fighting combinations never thought possible. Both are relentless, heavily skilled, and remain calm in the heat of battle, moving like water. You put the water in a mini, it becomes a mini. You put water into a half pot, it becomes the half pot. With each time the two spawn in for the next loop, depending on where they both may be, it's said that they fight for the whole 22 minutes that a match can last, doing all sorts of maneuvers just to stay alive. And it eventually becomes such a spectacle that other players in the matches just stop and watch the battle between Batman and Snake Eyes because it's just so bloody awesome. And after so much fighting against each other, they both start forming muscle memory of each other's moves and realize they've been fighting like this for a long time. However, from this, they don't form a partnership, but they do start to respect one another in combat. So much so that when someone tries third-partying Batman, Snake Eyes puts the guy in his place immediately so they can continue their battle uninterrupted. And with the loops running again and again, the two inevitably fight on top of a mountain, but when Snake Eyes almost falls over, Batman catches him and the two finally stop fighting for a change, doing the unexpected. They begin to converse with each other through sign language and come to an understanding that they were really just brothers from other mothers the entire time. So Snake Eyes chooses to let himself die inside the storm so that Batman can finally escape the loop. Once escaping, Batman teleports to a new place with someone shouting to not do anything stupid. No sudden moves or she's dead. Upon hearing that the both of them can talk, Batman knows now that he's escaped the loop, but still hasn't gotten his memory back. But for some reason he recognizes Catwoman and wants to save her. While held hostage, Catwoman makes a sign to go for the gun, and the two collectively take down Deathstroke with perfect synergy. And while Deathstroke gets his ass handed to him, he calls for a timeout and explains that he isn't their enemy, surrendering himself. Deathstroke explains that he held Catwoman hostage as a precaution because when people break free from the loop, they usually come out hostile. Yeah, right. You're not fooling anyone. Your fucking name is Deathstroke. But while discussing the loop and exactly what's going on, Batman gets overwhelmed with all the past lives he experienced, screaming in agony. Which to me was very reminiscent of Death Note, oddly enough. Deathstroke tells Batman that all his memories from the loop return, but not the ones from before. That doesn't come back. But if they want to remember, they'll have to work together. That's when a bunch of other Fortnite skins come out from the bushes to indoctrinate Batman and Catwoman into Fortniteology, where Renegade Wada turns out to be the leader of the group because she's been in Fortnite the longest. 4 whole years in Fortnite. Batman walks up to Renegade Wada, and yes, I'm gonna keep referring to her like that because I just will, asking her, since she's been here the longest, what she knows of the island. She points to the island and says to Batman that everything that the light touches is their kingdom. I mean the world. You try to set sail far enough or try jumping into the void, you'll end up dying. And through her time here on the island, she's seen plenty of natural disasters and even a few man-made disasters as well, developed by whoever controls the island. Among other things, Renegade Wada pulls out a tablet with engraved markings that describe people from distant worlds coming through portals into this world, meaning everyone on this island is from alternate worlds and at some point they were taken and brought into this one. So going over the basics, Batman commands everyone in the group to scour the island to uncover any clues on a way out of this world or any kind of device that could lead them out as well, while Batman and Catwoman will go out and map out search grids based on what they already know. Days later, the group has scoured all over the map and found nothing but impenetrable hatches that lead underground. Everyone in the group says to Batman that the hatch is impervious to virtually everything, but Batman, because he's Batman, opens it with a cryptographic sequencer or some shit. I don't know, it's Batman Fortnite, don't think about it. And tells Fishstick to go underwater to search for traps. Upon entering through the hatch, they are instantly attacked by some kind of rock monster and end up finding a bunker with several different paths that could lead to their way out. So Batman splits the group into 4 teams of 2 that'll each take a passage and they'll all collectively meet back and share the right way through 3 hours from now. Exactly 40 minutes later, Bat and the Cat run into a dead end, so they turn back, but when they arrive back at the starting point, they hear someone whimpering for help.
Help.
Get some water, as much as you can. Who did this to you?
Let's see.
Relax. I've got first aid supplies.
No point. Listen. I found something under the cement. Buried in the sand. I was bringing it to you.
What Fishstick gives to Batman is a device, albeit heavily damaged, that can bring someone back to the loop without the consequences of losing the holder's memory. Batman wonders why someone would try to hide this kind of device, but then Fishstick in his dying breath cuts in.
Someone is lying. They didn't escape the loop. They were never in it. They remember everything. One of us is working for.
One of us is working for them. Moment of silence for Fishsticks. May you rest in peace. Now, the next chapter is kind of just mostly filler. We begin underneath Fortnite Island, which when reading, I said out loud to my girlfriend, what are we? Some kind of Fortnite? The group ends up reuniting, and they have a huge fighting montage, taking dudes down, grittying, cricking 90s, the whole shebang. The group ends up reuniting, and they have a huge fighting montage, taking down dudes, grittying, cranking 90s, the whole shebang. Which is a tad bit funny, because at one point, everyone is fucking on these bots, and when one of them kills the other to save a life, Batman halts everything to be the referee and say, no killing, because Killing is bad. And to make a long short story short, the Fortnite take down the old-fashioned way. And they eventually stumble into a huge room where at the center is the 0 point, the key to their returning home. But one of the members with the flamey skull face tries to destroy the 0 point to go anywhere and do anything for all of eternity, until it sucks him into the 0 point and rips him apart from the inside out, spreading him across different dimensions in different places for all of eternity. Guess he ain't gonna be in Fortnite too. After that pick-me shit, the group look around the room and find a terminal that can control the 0 point. And I'm really honestly not sure how to explain this next bit properly whatsoever, but they figure out how to connect the 0 point's power to open a rift to their individual worlds, but they need a sort of conduit to open the rift. Renegade Weta volunteers, and when the group man the equipment, they begin to open the rift. The rift crackles open, and Renegade Weta just charges towards the rift, going back to her home world. Upon the rift closing, they remain amazed that what they did actually worked, until Batman's like, "Yeah, I know you killed Fishstick, you piece of shit." Huh? The traitor of the group turned out to be none other than Deathstroke. I would have never guessed that the bloke whose first appearance in the story, being the guy who held the love interest at fucking gunpoint, was the traitor or anything. So they fight for a bit, and after a bit of fighting, Deathstroke gets tired and decides to take a nap for a while. After which the remaining members of the group all make their way home, leaving just Batman, Catwoman, and Deathstroke left to return themselves. But oh no, Deathstroke got the zoomies. He breaks out of his bindings and pulls out a device that can help him navigate through the 0 point and back to the DC universe. Luckily for the Bat and the Cat, Deathstroke is a silly, goofy little guy and sometimes gets butterfingers, so he accidentally drops the device that can get the Bat and the Cat back home. But because DC was obligated to make a 6-issue series for Batman Fortnite, they can't just leave Fortnite and go home. It's never that simple. Because in order to get home, they need enough multiversal energy from 3 people, and what's 3 minus 1? Well, it's not enough to get them home. But luckily for the duo, they remember one player among the Battle Royale that had the motion to kill anyone in sight.
Harley Quinn.
The Bat and the Cat used the device left behind by Deathstroke to control the 0 point to bring them back where it all started, because the device is stuck on that setting because of plot. They teleport in and grapple onto the battle bus to survey the land and find Harley before the 22 minutes are up and the loop starts over again. Moments pass and the duo spot Harley in the middle of the map, eviscerating everyone in her path. The duo try to approach Harley, but she instantly goes into combat mode, and while fighting they converse with each other that they wish they could just tell her that they just want to take her back home. Until Harley shouts at the top of her lungs that she doesn't want to go home and maybe just likes playing Fortnite. She loves the fighting, the flossing, the total bonkers craziness of the island. She feels at home in Fortnite and plans on staying, until Batman shows Harley that the hammers of justice are in fact unisex. My Fortnite code is Comic Mullet. After collecting Harley for their escape and they think they're gonna finally get a clean break, nah, the evil Fortnite skins arrive, and Catwoman says the F word in Fortnite. Getting overwhelmed by dark versions of themselves, they rift themselves back to the 0 point and can finally breathe. They connect Harley to the devices as a conduit and successfully open a rift back to Gotham City. And yet Harley wakes up and swing kicks the both of them in the face and runs back to play more Fortnite, leaving the Bat and the Cat alone to talk amongst themselves. And interestingly, Catwoman feels like they should stay. Batman asks why the change of heart after everything they've been through, and Catwoman yells back that she's scared. Scared that they may be enemies back home, or strangers, or married to other people. Scared that they'll lose what they have once they return. Batman agrees with Catwoman that he's just as scared, but feels like there are people back home that may be counting on him, and with that feeling of obligation, he has to go back home. It's just who he is. So the pair swallow their fear and both take a leap of faith that once they return, they'll be married or something just as good. Blasting through the rift, they land back in Gotham completely fine, and in a flash, the pair remember everything again. And I should remind y'all while watching, eating your Five Guys or drinking coffee and studying for some exam that's stressing you out that I know you'll pass, so don't stress so much. This takes place in the main continuity. So they both remember how they were going to get married until Catwoman dipped at the last second because she thought if Batman were to ever be happy, there'd be no more Batman. Personally, I'm not really a big fan and think they should just be married, but fuck me, right? So they step away from one another, and Catwoman says in an utterly heartbreaking set of panels that she told Batman they should have just stayed. This isn't a Fortnite comic. What the fuck? All jokes aside, I really love this Batman Fortnite story. It's fun, different, and exciting, since I love movies or stories where the main character has to retrace his or her steps to solve what is exactly going on. Especially the whole Groundhog Day on top of it, with the added factor of having to write notes to each other so that when they next spawn in on a clean slate, they can remember what to do next. It's amazing writing in my opinion. And for a collab comic, it's surprisingly well made, in the sense that even if you were to know absolutely nothing about Fortnite, the comic basically goes over everything for you to understand. From the players, the map, the storm zones, and even the amount of time of matches, which I'm a little embarrassed to say was something I learned from this comic. I also love the art, and I love how the relationship between Batman and Catwoman is written. Like they are two people with clean slates just magnetically drawn together, destined to be together, blissfully ignorant of each other's past, until at the very end they're painfully reminded that the future they may want together may never come to pass. The lore is also pretty neat. Fishstick's death really impacted me on a spiritual level, and Wenige Ueda went back to playing Universe, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, that's
Batman Fortnite.
I hope y'all like this video. Leave a like, check out my Twitter, use my Fortnite code, or I'll rip apart some of my favorite comics. And don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Subscribe. You should subscribe. I'm just doing this because I heard the sub button does a little thing when I say subscribe, so subscribe. You should subscribe. And as always, I'll catch y'all on the flip side. Turns out the entire plot trapping Batman in Fortnite was because of the Batman Who Laughs. Isn't it so fucking weird that wherever you go in Batman media, he'll just be there? I quite literally have no idea anymore where his story begins or where it ends. But yeah, deuces.